Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Manners and More with Melina. I'm your host, Melina Gay, and I'm so excited because today we have a very special guest, the Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett, also known as the fabulous Della Reese. And we're here in her beautiful home today, and I have the pleasure of speaking with this fabulous, fabulous entertainer, singer, author, film and television actress, and minister, my minister of the Upchurch, the fabulous Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett. Thank you for being a guest on Manners and More with Melina.
I love the introduction. Would you do that again? I was enjoying that. That was good.
Well, there's more. There's some more to it. Because in case some people have lived under a rock and they don't know all of your extensive, wonderful career, I'm going to give them a list, a quite extensive list of all the wonderful things that you've done to bring them up to date on what you and I already know.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. So in case you've been under a rock, sit back, get ready, because you've seen her on The Perry Como Show, The Jackie Gleason Show, The Ed Sullivan Show, her own show, The Della Reese Show, Sanford and Son, Police Story, The Movie of the Week, Twice in a Lifetime, The Love Boat, The Great American Gospel Show, The Grand Ole Opry, The Story of Amazing Grace, Della Reese and Woody Herman Show, The Christmas Special with Mel Torme and Della Reese, It Takes Two, Crazy Like a Fox, Designing Women, 227, The A-Team, MacGyver, Law and Order, Picket Fences, and Nightmare in Batham County, for which she was nominated for an Emmy. Now, we're not done yet. No.
I'm patient.
Okay. You've also been in several movies of the week, which include The Secret Path, Anya's Bell, and The Moving of Sophia Myles. She's best known for her role as Tess on the hit CBS series Touched by an Angel, and she is also very well known for her role in the critically acclaimed film Harlem Nights, which starred Eddie Murphy, Red Fox, and a number of other well-known actors. Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett, thank you for being a guest on Manners and More with Melina today.
I'm glad to be here with you.
Well, I'm glad to have
you
you.
remember all that stuff. I'd forgotten. Literally, it's been a long time, a number of years, something like 60.
Wow.
So some of that I had forgotten. It's good to hear about it again.
Well, it lives on on the internet, it lives on in our hearts and in our minds, and just the contributions that you've made and the paths that you've blazed, the trails that you've blazed have honestly allowed me to be here, sitting here interviewing you for my own show in your beautiful home.
You
Thank you.
deserve it.
Thank you.
You're doing it good.
That means so much coming from you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, now, I know that you were born in Detroit, Michigan, and you began your singing career at the age of 6 in the choir in your church. Now, and then throughout your formative years, you became you continued with your singing and gospel singing, and at 13, that's where you were hired by the late Mahalia Jackson to sing with her group, Background. So my question to you is, very few people as adults, but especially very few children, have a clear and decisive idea of exactly what they want to do. How did you know at 6?
Well, can't take credit for that. I didn't really know at 6. My mother says when I was born and they slapped me so I would breathe, I didn't breathe, I hummed.
Oh.
And I just kept humming. And I enjoyed singing. And my mother would say to me, why don't you go out on the porch and play? Because I'd be singing, and I loved to sing, and everything I saw in the movies, I brought that home, and I did that while I sang.
Oh, wow.
And she said, well, we've got to do something about this, so she took me to the church.
Okay.
And the pastors at the church, there were 2, knew that the children don't really understand what you're saying at the 11 o'clock service. And so they put together a children's service, and they had a children's choir, and I could remember the lyric, and I could stay on pitch, and I had a rhythm, 6-year-old rhythm, but it was still rhythm. So I became the directress of the young people's choir.
Oh, at 6.
Oh, it was wonderful because people would say, you should see her. She's cute. She's so cute. You should see her. and she can sing. Maybe she'll sing today. Well, that was heaven, all right. Really. And then afterwards, they would give me a dime or they would give me a quarter. Sometimes I even got 50 cents.
Ooh.
And I would come home and I would have enough money to buy ice cream and candy and stuff like that. So I couldn't wait for rehearsal time and get back to singing.
Getting paid at 6 years old.
I loved it. I loved it.
Wow, wow, wow. And so, well, let me ask you a question of, at some point, and I have here that it was at 13, but what was the event that led to your melodic voice falling upon the ears of the late, great Mahalia Jackson?
Well, between 6 and 13, I got to be pretty stuck up and hanky.
Uh-oh, because of all that money
and,
that they
the
were
money
giving?
and the candy and all that stuff, and everybody tell me how cute I was and all of that. And so Mahalia came to sing at our church, and it was in the summertime, and we didn't have any air conditioning. The people at the funeral homes would give us fans, and that's how we kept cool. And Mahalia brought her group with her, and there was this lady with her. I want to say this sweetly and nicely. The lady was plentiful, and she was so plentiful, nobody understood what was wrong with her, and she began to fan, and she fainted.
Oh.
And 4 or 5 men took her to the pastor's office, and they found out that the lady was pregnant, but she was so
Plentiful.
that you couldn't really tell. There was no bump, no hump, no nothing. It was just part of the lady's being. And so Mahalia was on the way to engagements in the South. And at that time, I was a lyric soprano, and that's what she needed. And so they asked my mother, the pastors did, if she would let me go with Mahalia. It was just 3 engagements, and would she let me go with them? And my mother talked to Mahalia and said to her, I have a good child here, and I wouldn't let her go off with just anybody, but I know you're a good Christian woman, and you'll take care of her. I'm looking for you to bring me back a better child than you're taking away. And she let me go. And Mahalia was worse than my mama.
Uh-oh.
I hated Miss Mahalia. I hated her so bad.
Wow.
Well, because when they told me I was going to get to go out of town, I had this picture of all the boys chasing me. And I had the picture of me standing still and letting them catch me. And the fun that I was going to... Miss Mahalia sat on my chest like I was a pillow.
Oh!
She didn't let me do anything at all. But and I must say this about her, she taught me the art of communication.
Oh.
She wasn't the kind of teacher who said to you, you do this and you do that. She did it and it worked. And unless you were stupid, you had to see that what she was doing worked. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I began to watch her. And just before we got ready to sing, she would remove herself from us and go to a quiet place, and she would just sit there and sort of get a sort of a rhythm into her body, and she would and what is this gonna do? Sitting here in the dark, rocking, because I had this high note. And I'd go out and I'd hit my high note and run up and down the aisle and everything, and the people would like me, and I was so stupid, I would sit down and look at her like, follow that.
Oh!
I did.
Oh!
And she would not get up out of the chair that she was sitting in, and she would continue that little rock and begin to moan, and people jump out the balcony.
Really?
Running up and down the aisles. I could not understand that because I had hit my high note 3 or 4 times. I didn't understand how she was able to do that.
So you hit your high note and they weren't running up and down.
They weren't running anywhere. They were just looking at me like I was crazy. But I began to watch her. I've never been ignorant. I began to watch her and to see. I wanted to have that power. And when she saw that I was really interested in not playing the game that I had come to play, she began to drop little things for me, little this. One of them that I live by today, if you don't feel it, nobody else will. And that's the way she sent me out there, and she began to give me solo parts, and all the while she was encouraging me. That's what I love about it till this minute. She was saying it'll be better next time. You're getting you got the idea now. So I learned to love her.
Oh, but you didn't like her at first.
Not at first. She got in my way. She just got right up in my way.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. You learned to love her, and you came back a better person for your mom.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. And for myself, too. It was no longer about the candy and the coins. It was, if I sang, and it's true today, thank God, if I sing and I don't feel it, I want to go back and have another chance at it. You see, it's got to be something that comes from in here, so that when I finish, I don't have to ask you, the gentleman, anybody else how it was. I appreciate your appreciating it, but I'm not leaning on that. What I'm leaning on to know that it was the right thing, the right way, is because in here I'm aglow. In my heart I'm aglow. I'm glad for the sweat to be running off my body. I'm very happy about that.
Okay. You've just spoken to me very deeply, and I know you've spoken to the audience and giving them something to really not rely on others, but to come from here. And
that's where the Christ is, in here.
It is.
And so when I go in here, I have the best singer in captivity.
Yes, you do.
You see, because he and the expressions, the things, I'm a lyricist, and the words mean so much. It's not just something you say to keep rhythm. I'm a little hurt about the young people who nowadays have a line, and they say that line over and over and over and over again, and they miss all the words that talk about the feelings and the love and all of that, because they got a name for it. And don't tell me, because I don't want to learn the name.
Okay.
But they got a name for it, that you just do this, do this, do this, do this. And I don't get the feeling. I want them to have the feeling of speaking the word. People come to see you who have human problems.
Yes.
The baby's not feeling good, but you had promised to come out with your husband or your lover or whoever, and the baby's not feeling good. So in the midst of your good time, you know the baby's not feeling good, and you need somebody to come and sing to you so that you can relax and believe, well, I'll just hear this and the baby will be all right. It's all right. It's okay. God's in charge, and it's okay, and I can enjoy this, you see. We as entertainers, we should tell stories, I believe,
Yes.
to people of what life is about, and how wonderful it can be, and how magnificent love is, and how joyous and happiness can be, and we don't seem to do that much anymore.
No, not very much anymore, but you absolutely do. And the words of your music, your songs, they really touch the soul and the spirit, and they uplift, and everybody needs to, the whole world.
You a lot. You know, the more I spend time with you, I like you. You're a nice person.
Oh, thank you. You know, that's what you said the first time we met. You said to me, I like you. And I said, I like you too. And it's been love ever since. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the fabulous Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett in her beautiful, beautiful home. Stay tuned. Hello there, and we're back with Manners and More with Melina. I'm your host, Melina Gay, and I'm in the home of the fabulous Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett, and who is our special guest today. And now we're going to talk about our wonderful church, the wonderful church that you helped to found, Understanding Principles for Better Living Church. And I am honored to be a member of this church that just gives so much life. It gives so much energy. It's given me personally a whole new perspective, and you've given me the principles that you instill, that you remind us of, and that you teach. They just give so much to, I can speak for myself. I've become a different person, especially since our ceremony on March the 8th. I count that as my birthday.
How wonderful.
And I just thank you so much for that. And one of the principles that you teach is how our past experiences prepare us for our journey in life. And so while you were at Wayne State University, your mother made her transition, and you had to stop going to school in order to help support your family back in Detroit. And you took jobs as anywhere. You took clerical jobs, barbering jobs, taxi driver, and I believe a truck driver. Yes, a truck driver. And yet,
But that was not that was kind of fun because
oh,
I was younger, I was slimmer, and what I did was I lived in Detroit, but I drove to Toledo to get the food that I was bringing back to the market. And it had big bushel baskets of it, you know. And so what I would do was I would put on, it was summertime when I did it, I would put on something I could pull off my shoulders. And it was kind of tight here and there. And I would go to the back of the truck and I would catch hold of it and I would and eventually some nice man would say, let me do that for you. I never took a basket off the
yeah, I do that too.
I never did.
It's too heavy.
It is. I never took it off. I loved it. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun. And driving a cab was good because I drove at night, and so I was able to rehearse in the cab. I took a job as a dental assistant. So I knew nothing about dentistry, but he didn't come to work till 3 o'clock, so I could sing in the nightclub. And I could sleep at the desk answering the phone from morning till 3 o'clock when he got there. And so I made it through.
Okay.
And it gave me, each thing gave me something.
Yes.
And I could turn that into music.
So is that, what did you take from those experiences? What you just said, you just took those experiences and turned them into song?
Absolutely. Because of the truck drivers who always helped me, I knew about love songs and how to treat your man and how a woman should be treated. And Dinah Washington was my favorite singer, so I would take Dinah's stuff, and she did it her way, and I would do it my way. I had something to learn from. I didn't have a school that was teaching me, but I was living and trying to live from day to day, which life taught me how to hold myself up and take care of myself.
And these are a lot of the principles that you teach, that the Up Church teaches.
Absolutely. We're made, listen to this, we are made in the image, likeness of God.
Oh.
You see, now think of all the things that God is. I'm made into that. So there's nothing that can possibly stop me from being what is for my highest good, because I am made in the image, likeness of God. So I can create, so I can heal, so I can supply the things that I need. I can bless people. I can enjoy creativity. There's everything that God is. If I will go inside of me to the Christ inside of me, I can do that. I can be that. I can have that. That's exciting to me.
It's very exciting. That's very exciting. And these are the principles that the church teaches.
Absolutely. Sometimes we forget because we never really understood the meaning of the Bible. The Bible is the best how-to book ever written. It tells you exactly how to do it, but it's in a language of another era that you don't necessarily understand. At the church, we break it down. What does this word mean? You need to go to the east. Well, that doesn't mean go to a building that's to the east. Inside of you, since you're made in the image likeness of God, is the godliness that is the Christ inside of you, which is the east. So what it's really saying is, if you need some help, don't call your neighbor, go inside to the Christ inside of you. And since God knows everything, whatever you need to know is not a problem for him to teach you that. You see, but it needs to be defined. It shouldn't just be thrown at you and you're supposed to take it and not understand it. And what we do at Up Church is break it down to the root, right down to it, so that you can, and we go over it and over it and over it, as you know, until you get it understood good.
Go over and repeat. And then if you can't get enough there's Wednesday night
That's
class.
right, that's right.
We go over some
That's
more.
right, that's right. He brought me from the slums, God did, and gave me an opportunity to perform. And then I got to, when I had conquered what I wanted to do, it occurred to me that there was so much more that I could do. And so I established the church with 8 people around a kitchen table.
Wow.
And we began to work with it. We began to be a part of it. And I could see the people were advancing because of it. And so 8 wasn't enough. You see, and I had it in my house, and my husband couldn't even go to the kitchen because there were so many people in the house. I don't love anything like I love my husband, so I said, we better get out of here and get another place before he gets displeased.
Oh, can't have that. No, no, no. And so then you moved on to several different facilities?
Yes, we've been trying, and we're going to have it in God's time. We've been trying to have a building of our own. We have such marvelous young teachers, as you know, and people who come who have elevated their attitudes and have become bigger people in Christ. And we need a place where the people who are hurt can come and we can give them a space, and the children can come and learn so that they don't have to unlearn so much stuff. We need a place where we can have women who are being abused and misused come and see how to take care of themselves. There are so many facets that we can fill with the truth, and the truth will absolutely set you free.
Yes, it will. And actually, there's an event coming up on September the 21st to do just that, to raise awareness about the church. Yes. And we are going to speak about that. We have some very special friends with us here today who are going to participate in that. And we're just going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Manners and More with Melina, the very special Reverend Della Reese Lett.
Hi, I'm Rea Gray from Betty White's Off Their Rockers, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the 30th anniversary of Upchurch and a tribute to Della Reese on September 21st. Get your tickets.
And we're back with Manners and More with Melina. I'm your host, Melina Gay, and with me in the fabulous home of Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett is the fabulous Rea Gray, whose career has spanned several decades, but you know her most recently as the prankster on Betty White's show Off Their Rockers. And Reatha, thank you so much for joining us here at the fabulous home of Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett. Why don't you tell us about some of the things that you've done before and that you're currently involved in now?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to participate in this wonderful event, and to the fabulous house of the wonderful, magnificent Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett. I'm so excited to be here. But I'll calm down.
Calm down.
And back in the day, I was on Three's Company and General's Hospital. I did a movie called Welcome Home, Brother Charles, which is still out on DVDs, but we won't talk about that.
Okay.
We've all got one. It was the 70s. But actually in the 80s, I went into extra casting. I did some principal casting also. And in the 90s, I got out of the business altogether.
Okay.
And like Reverend Della, I went into the ministry. So I was a chaplain at the Los Angeles Mission for about 8 years. And then due to some circumstances, I needed to go back and get a job. So I went back into entertainment. So currently I'm on Betty White's Off Their Rockers on NBC. We're currently airing on Friday nights at 8 p.m. And I get to play pranks on young people. It's wonderful.
Yes, I know. I've seen those pranks. So I'm afraid when I come around, you're like, where's the camera? What's going on?
Oh, and I don't need a camera, honey. I can pull a prank just because. That's one of the things that's not good about working on this show, because you just get used to saying whatever you feel like saying. And so sometimes I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm so glad to call you a friend.
But I'm always nice. I don't believe in being mean. No mean-spirited. And that's the thing about our show, too. We don't want to be mean-spirited.
Well, no, and you can't, I mean, we're all people, and we need to support and give back to each other and the community, and we help and uplift each other. That's why it's so important, and it means so much that you're participating in this special tribute ceremony on September 21st. That is the 30th anniversary of the Understanding Principles for Living Better Church that Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett helped to found. In addition to, we're honoring her. So your participation means so much. So how do you feel about your participation? What can you tell the audience that they can look forward to when they come on out and enjoy the celebration?
Well, I have the privilege of being in the presence of a legend with Betty White. Now I'm going to have the privilege of being with another legend, and that is so awesome. I feel, like I said, I'm so excited, and I feel so privileged to be a part of this. The church has been around for 30 years. Do you know how many churches just fail in just a couple of years? This church has been around, led by Reverend Della, for 30 years. And a woman minister in LA? Oh, it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy. And to be the leader of the church is awesome. And all the things that she's done in her life, it's just amazing to have sang with Mahalia Jackson. I mean, awesome. Ed Sullivan Show, Johnny Carson Show. I remember seeing Della Reese literally my entire life.
Wow.
And having so much respect for her. And it's such an honor to be part of a tribute to her, and a double honor because it's about not just, and I shouldn't say not just, because our talents are God-given, but not just her talents, but also the work that she's done in the ministry, which is awesome. And the fact that they are raising money so that they can do things in the community to be able to help those that are in need. And, you know, everybody knows the type of economic situation that we're in now, the spiritual situation that we're in now, and people need help. So it's a fundraiser, but it's also a tribute. So I'm just really excited to be part of any of it.
Well, we're very excited that you will be, but just please don't play pranks on anybody at the ceremony. Now, come on, Reatha.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to ask Reverend Della to lay hands on you and pray.
Well, yeah, other people have. So.
Well, maybe we'll have a nice prayer circle.
I might need, no, I'll be good. I'll be good, maybe.
Oh, see, I know you personally, so that maybe is, But it's a wonderful organization, a wonderful group of people who belong to the church, and it's led by such a wonderful person, and we really do need a permanent church home. The church has gone through several transitions in several locations, and it is time. It is now time that we have our own building to do the work that God has mandated that we're here to do. We're here for a purpose. And so your participation and the participation of the others who will be just means so much. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts in advance. And looking forward to you being you.
Well, speaking of how many different places you've been, years ago, and I don't know where in that 30 years this was, I went to a Bible study at a little church in Culver City. So that was one of the homes of the church.
Oh, so you went to the Bible study of the Up Church years ago? Wow.
Years ago, years and years ago. I'm not even sure I was a Christian.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it was early in the church history, and early is certainly in my Christian history.
Mm-hmm. But it made a difference in your life then?
It made a difference in my life then.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here, and I worked with Reverend Della on Harlem Nights. I was one of the extras in one of the huge crowd scenes, and I could see her way over there. I said, "That's Della Reese, that's Della Reese." Now I've been close enough to touch her.
Ooh, look at you now. Hanging out in the fabulous home.
Yeah, how you like me now?
How you like her now? Well, thank you so much for being here today, Reatha, and we look forward to your exuberance and your laughter and your joy and your participation on Saturday.
And my pranks?
Not looking
No
forward to
pranks,
that so
okay,
much,
no.
no.
On Saturday?
On Saturday, September 21st. Yes. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you then. See you then, my friend. And thank you so much for being here today. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with another very special guest who will be participating at the tribute ceremony for the Up Church. Stay tuned for Manners and More with Melina. We'll be right back.
Hi, Oba Babatunde. Please join me and a host of other magnificent, talented people as we celebrate the 30th anniversary of Up Church and pay tribute to Della Reese. I'll be there. Don't miss it.
And we're back with Manners and More with Melina, and we're here discussing the tribute ceremony for the Understanding Principles for Better Living Church and its 30th anniversary. And we're here with another very special guest, Mr. Oba Babatunde. Welcome, Mr. Babatunde.
Thank you. It's a joy and a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for joining us. And I understand that you have a very extensive career in the industry that's spanning over 4.5 decades. And you have been in Broadway shows, Dreamgirls. You were the original Berry Gordy. You were in Jelly's Last Jam. You've done several Broadway productions. You've been in several motion picture films, such as The Manchurian Candidate, Introducing Dorothy Dandridge. The list goes on, as well as your television credits as the dad in Half and Half. And we're going to have a very special show with just you, because your credits would take quite an extensive amount of time. But we're here right now today speaking with you about your participation in the tribute ceremony for the Understanding Principles for Better Living Church. Thank you in advance for your participation.
Well, you know what? It's when you asked me to be a participant, it was actually a no-brainer. It's quite simple. Very seldom do you get an opportunity to shake hands with greatness. And when you're around the Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett, you get an opportunity to shake hands with greatness. So when an opportunity presents itself, you do that. You jump at the opportunity. I had the opportunity to, there was a tribute that was given to her once before, and I was invited. And, I had a chance to work with her on her show, in which she was really, those audience members that are paying attention, remember, and if you haven't, you should check it out, because you can find it, Touched by an Angel. Yes. And, in the entertainment industry, or in life particularly, your who is not necessarily your do, nor is your do your who. By that I mean that what you do is not necessarily who you are, but it has the ability to inform who it is that you are. When you get an opportunity to see the work that Della Reese did in that production, or any of the work that she's done over the years, you see not just what she's doing, but who she is, because she affords her spirit to represent what it is that she is through what she's doing. So when I got a chance to be on the show, it was really a special honor. And so here now I was asked to do this tribute. As I said, I didn't walk, I ran to the theater. And now I'm getting a chance to pay tribute to again. There are different stages one goes through, and there are these labels and titles. And I often don't prescribe to labels because I think they're too limiting, because they are something that somebody else has created for someone else. And that means it's only based on their perception. But in this case, just because it is something that we tend to associate with, I'm going to give you a couple. Mm-hmm. There is, we hear the terminology celebrity. We hear the terminology star. We hear the terminology superstar. And we hear the terminology of legend. We very seldom hear the terminology that is befitting of an icon. An icon, that's a status that must be earned through investment of time and consistency of behavior. That's what the Reverend Dr. Della Reese, her, if you had to associate a title, if you will, not a label, but a title, she's iconic. And that is special unto itself. And that's what she does in all of her work. We've talked about the fact that she's a reverend, the reaching out and touching of lives, the shaping and molding of one's thoughts and ideas and perceptions of themselves, selflessly giving. We're here today doing your show in her home. Very few people would afford one that opportunity. So it speaks to, again, not just what she does, but who she is. So the honor and the privilege is absolutely mine to be on the show. I'm looking forward to it. I've been told, and I'm going to get a chance to sing a song. And I will try to find a musical selection that I think will touch the hearts and minds and spirits of those who are listening. So I'm just honored and thrilled, and I thank you for the opportunity for giving me the chance to be on your show to promote it. And if you have not yet gotten your own tickets to this celebration, I implore you at this time, do not wait. Run and make sure that you're there, because it's very few times that you get a chance to be in the presence of this type of greatness. So I'll be there. There's a host of other wonderful people that'll be there, and I hope you'll be there too.
I hope so too. Please, please come on out. We're going to tell you at the end of the show how you can obtain some tickets in order not to miss this very special celebration. Now, Mr. Babatunde, can you give us a little idea of what you're so talented. You sing, you dance, you act. What is it that you're going to do? Now, I saw you were in a production of Fraternity, the play Fraternity, a few months back, and oh my goodness, I was so touched because in this performance, you played an invisible instrument and played it perfectly, as if I know you're saying, what in the world? It was a trombone, it was a trombone, and you played it and made the sounds just as if it were in your hands right there, and it was absolutely, utterly amazing. I mean, the performance was so good, I went 2 days in a row. It was just out and told everybody else about it, and they came the second day as well. And actually, Reverend Della and her husband had the privilege of seeing you perform that as well. So are you going to, if you'd like to do a little bit of that at this moment, or you can wait until you come onto my show and later time and do that, but what is it that you're going to, can you give us a little hint of what we can look forward to?
Well, Melina, in what a performer does,
Yes.
they commit, and thank you very much for the compliment about the instrument, but what I've tried to do, and I continue to do, is give the full measure of my devotion to that which I dedicate myself to doing. So if it's singing, it's the full measure of my devotion to that. If it's acting, I have the opportunity. I've been blessed with many, many gifts and talents. And if I may, let me just interject something I'd like to say to your listening audience. Melina's very kind in complimenting me on my work and my talent. And as she mentions, it's a 4.5-decade career, which does not include the no-paying, low-paying jobs. That's when I got a card and started earning money doing it. But, God, with those talents, talent is a gift from God. It is a gift from God. Now, identify when you get a gift from someone, you're thrilled because it was presented to you as a present. Well, talent is a gift from God. Now, please understand, don't mistake my saying talent having to do with being in the entertainment industry. I'm talking about every one of us has been imprinted by God's hand, his imprint, with a talent that is yours. And that talent, because it's a gift, because talent can't be learned, nor can it be taught. It can only be developed. And thus that is only asked is to be used for the uplifting and ultimately the glory of God, who is in all things. All right? So my talents and gifts, I have done in giving the full measure of my devotion to developing those talents to the best of my ability to help inspire, entertain, enlighten, educate, and somehow motivate someone toward being their greater self. So I'm glad and I'm excited about the things and the credits that I've done, but you know what I'm the most excited about, Melina?
What's that?
I am the most excited about what I'm going to do. Because tomorrow is pristine, because it has yet not happened. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So I'm opening myself up to, as I said, possibly I think I'm going to sing a song. And it's a bit of a tribute. And it's a sort of a thing, and I have an idea that I'm working on developing. But, there was a song that a gentleman sang called Life is a Woman. And I find irony in that. It goes a little bit like life is a woman, and endless surprise, always opening up your heart, then closing your eyes, bending your brain, showering you with sunshine, love, and pain. Enough of that. You'll have to come if you want to see more and hear more.
Well, that was fantastic. I'm ready to go right now. Well, thank you for that, Mr. Babatunde, and we look forward to hearing your melodic voice on September the 21st, and we also look forward to an hour-long interview and where we can completely discuss your full career and what yesterday's tomorrow will have manifested itself at that point. So thank you again for being here, and we look forward to September 21st.
I look forward to it. Please be there.
And you may get tickets on the Up Church website at theupchurch.org, or you can go on Facebook and find the Up Church Facebook page and just simply write a little note on the wall, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible, and you'll be able to obtain tickets that way. So you stay tuned. We'll be right back with our last segment of Manners and More with Melina, where we say a few more words to the fabulous Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett. Thank you, Mr. Babatunde, for being here.
Thank you.
You stay tuned. We'll be right back. Now, you've written several books, but this last book that you wrote is called Metaphysically Speaking. Now, what inspired you to write that book?
Well, there are a lot of ailments that people don't understand that they have. One of them is excusitis.
Oh.
People could do so many things. They're made in the image likeness of God. All you have to do maybe a little study here, a little study there. But instead you say, well, I'm not tall enough, and I'm not short enough, and I haven't been enough school, and I haven't done enough this, and I haven't done. Where if you really want to do it, all the schools are open. You can go to school now if you need schooling. If you don't like where your neighborhood, the way they treat you, you can move. There's always something you can do that's better than excusitis. That's just one of the things that the power that you have, you should know about that. The power is not something that you have outside that you can take to the bank. The power is inside of you because that's where God lives, inside of you. So if you need some power, reach in there and get some. Don't make arrangements for not being able to do anything. You're made in the image likeness of God, and there's nothing that is for your highest good that you can't do. And that's what the book's about.
Wow. Well, thank you for that.
You're more than welcome, I assure you.
And the subtitle of it is The Bible is the Greatest How-To Book Ever Written.
Absolutely. If you would just follow directions, you don't have to be brilliant. Just follow directions, and it'll tell you exactly what to do and how to do it.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell everyone right now how to get this book and how to get it right now. And all you have to do, if you'd like to email, you just email Rev Della at upchurch.org. That's REVDELLA at upchurch.org. Or you can call the church office at 310-641-7991. That's 310-641-7991. And that is also where you will be able to obtain tickets to the tribute ceremony. That is the most efficient and expeditious way. Again, that number is 310-641-7991. And please be sure to call, get your tickets, get your book. And Reverend Della, what do you have any final words to say about the tribute that's coming up September 21st?
I love being loved. I just love being loved, and that people would want to come together like you have done today and say nice things about me and show me love. Turns me all the way on. So I'll probably have more fun there than anybody there, but you can come and try to have as much fun as you can.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
Do that.
And we invite you to do that as well. Come on down. Have as much fun as you possibly can. Be sure to get your tickets. 310-641-7991, September 21st at the Ionic Masonic Lodge on La Cienega Boulevard. We'll see you there. The show begins at 6 p.m.
I have no idea. It's a surprise. I'm not even supposed to be here talking to you. I'm so surprised I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
And it's going to be my greatest acting role. I'm going to be so surprised when I get there and they're doing this.
Okay, well, we won't tell you anymore. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Shh, don't tell her anymore. But you be sure to get there, and you be surprised with all of the wonderful people who will be there. Just be there and share in the love and the joy as we have had today on this segment of Manners and More with Melina. So I want to thank our very special guests, Ms. Reatha Gray, Mr. Oba Babatunde, and thank you, Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett, for the hospitality in your beautiful home, and just for you being you, and for honoring what God has given you to share with me and to share with the world.
I love you too.
Now, there's a term that you have in the book called excuse-itis. Please, what is excuse-itis?
It's a way to keep from doing anything. I'm not tall enough. I'm not small enough. I don't have enough this. I can't get into a school. I don't have enough education. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And all of that is a lie, because you're made in the image likeness of God. And so you have everything you need. The thing you have to do is get up off of it and get on it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. No more excuse-itis.
No.
And you tell us in the book exactly how to get rid of it.
Absolutely, positively.
Loving it. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And people are able to get the book by calling the church office at 310-641-7991. Again, that's 310-641-7991. And you'll also be able to obtain tickets to the fabulous tribute ceremony that we're not talking about anymore because you're being surprised. But you need to be there on September the 21st. Tickets are going quickly, so you want to get yours so you can be a part of history and be a part of this fantastic celebration. You may also email Reverend Della at revdella@upchurch.org. Well, that concludes our show for today. I want to thank our very special guests, Ms. Reatha Gray, also Mr. Oba Babatunde, and for the wonderful hospitality of the fabulous Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett in your beautiful home. Thank you so much for having us.
I love you too.
Oh,
Yes, I do. I really do.
I love you too.
Yeah.